Let's see if we got, where's my phone? There it is. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom.
We're on.
Cool. Welcome everybody, if you're tuning in. Welcome to the severe weather coverage. Right now we do not have any severe storms in our area in northern Michigan, but you can see from the radar that is behind me and also on the green screen over there where you'll see meteorologist John Gross here very shortly. That is going to be the line of storms that has been moving through Wisconsin. They have seen a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, a lot of tornado warnings, and that is about to cross Lake Michigan, still with a lot of gusto. There is a lot of wind. I'm currently looking at the velocity here on my laptop, where you look at the greens and reds radar showing you the velocity and wind directions currently, and it is cooking across Lake Michigan. Now, the other thing that you see to my left, your right, is the tornado watch that has just been issued. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma has issued a tornado watch for the western half of the lower peninsula. It is not, that is extremely rare. One, we usually don't see tornado watches, but two, very rarely do you see them stretching from the Indiana-Michigan border all the way up to the Straits. We are going to continue to watch this very closely and bring you the latest updates as these storms are crossing. So right now, what you need to know is this line of storms has been severe, crossing the entire state of Wisconsin. There was numerous tornadoes, a lot of damage in some areas, and that is now working its way across Lake Michigan. We do have some marine warnings, which is just on the Lake Michigan shoreline, with this storm getting closer to the Lake Michigan shoreline, so you're seeing a lot of the warnings over the lakes right now, mainly issued for the southern part of the storm, but it is going to continue moving east-northeast, roughly at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So what you need to know right now, if you are in Oceana, Mason, Manistee, Benzie, areas up in Leelanau County, areas down towards Muskegon, if you're seeing this downstate, those counties right along the Lake Michigan shoreline, you need to be ready to be in your safe place, as these storms are going to be coming off the lake with more than likely 60 plus mile per hour winds, as well as the possibility of some sizable hail, and not to mention the possibility of some rotation. Right now I'm looking at the velocity of these storms coming across Lake Michigan, and there is still some rotation as it is crossing Lake Michigan. So again, that is what we're watching very closely. We'll know here probably within the next 10 minutes or so if we have some warnings here for Oceana, Mason counties, areas towards Muskegon County. And that is the beginning portion of this line of storms that it looks to impact the Lake Michigan shoreline from about 9 p.m. all the way to 3 a.m. as it moves northeast to the Lake Huron shoreline. And we'll continue to cover this for you throughout the evening. So right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings. What we have is a tornado watch. If you recall back to some of the items that we've been showing you on Beyond the Forecast here on 9 and 10 is tornado watch, tornado warning. Think about it as taco watch, taco warning. The ingredients for the taco are sitting there. Taco warning, the tacos are made and ready to be eaten. So a tornado watch, the ingredients are there to possibly produce tornadoes. So you're not seeing tornadoes right now moving through your area. It just means the ingredients are there to possibly produce tornadoes. A tornado warning means it's either a radar indicated tornado on the ground or somebody has confirmed it. And that means that you could possibly be in jeopardy. You need to get to your safe place immediately. Now let's talk about what your safe place should be. Your safe place should be the lowest part of your house. A basement is the best part, or a storm cellar, or an item that you can get to, or a room that you can get to below the actual structure of your house. Now, if you don't have a basement, an interior room with no windows is the second best place that you can be. Now, items that you can have handy in these situations: helmets, steel-toed boots, items to keep you safe from things that could be falling. Now, if this is going to be moving through here in the next hour, do not be outside by any means. Even if you want to go see something, do not do it, because there could be flying debris. That is a concern with these storms as well, as they've been picking up debris balls throughout Wisconsin as this storm line has been moving east. So the best thing you can do right now if you're on the Lake Michigan shoreline is get to your safe place. And thank you, John, for pulling that up.
Absolutely.
John is over there. He just isn't at the green screen yet.
Hi, everybody.
Go introduce yourself over there. I have some things to pull up here.
Sure.
But we are live on the 910 News YouTube channel, the 910 News Facebook page, as well as Beyond the Forecast Facebook page, as well as my professional Facebook page. I'm sure, John, you shared it by
sir.
now. So we are live on socials right now. We are not breaking into TV, as we currently do not have any warnings. As John mentioned, we mentioned John broke into TV to tell you about the tornado watch. Not trying to scare anybody here, just keeping you informed, as a tornado watch means, John, we have the ingredients for tornadoes to possibly form.
And I think that's something important to talk about, Michael, because we have, or at least myself personally, have gotten phone calls, messages about us saying, you know, we're trying to scare people, we're trying to hypen up this type of situation, and that's not the goal. No. And I've tried to even say that when we're on air during shows, when we're talking about any tornadic chances. The goal is to give you the information that we have at hand so you can be prepared best as you can in case we do happen to see something come to fruition. And unfortunately, like we're now seeing, active tornado watch all the way from the Straits down to the Michigan, Indiana, Ohio border, that's a rare occurrence.
Yes.
That's something that we do not see every single day.
Nope.
Across the region. I mean, we can sometimes see, you know, chances for a tornado, and it could be more of an isolated chance, but for the National Weather Service to pull the trigger on the entire tornado watch all the way up to the Straits, again, is more of a rare occurrence. So we're taking this situation a bit more seriously.
Yes, and that's why we're live here on socials. We really want to get out to you guys to make sure that not only is TV cannot be the only platform that we're relaying this information to you, socials has to be that other platform as well. And we can see all of you as you're interacting with us, Chad, Kelly, Candace, Lisa, Barbara, Michelle, Wendy, Jim. We can see what you guys are saying. So if you do have reports of something coming through here throughout the night, we will definitely relay those to the National Weather Service. This is another way for us to keep people safe and informed as the severe weather is crossing the lake. John, if you could, please pop up the radar for us, see where those storms are currently. Jim, Isabella will be more impacted probably around, I would say right now it looks like about 11 o'clock midnight. But you definitely could be looking at some of those gusty winds. There's that line of storms right now. So it is moving northeast, not moving directly east. So again, that's why Isabella might be later here, Jim. But should you be scared? No. What you need to be is prepped and ready. Do not be scared of these situations. Just make sure you are safe in these situations. And that's what we're here to help you do, is keep you informed from these storms moving in. Don't be scared of the weather. Just make sure that you are prepped and ready the best you can be for weather. Like we told you, the best place is going to be a basement as these storms come rolling off the lake. And these storms back in Wisconsin were numerously severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. Now, as they're coming into Michigan, yes, the good news is we don't have nearly the atmospheric conditions that they did in Wisconsin, but it doesn't mean these storms are not going to be severe.
Yeah, that's true. And if you remember a few weeks back, we were talking about a situation where we had storms moving in very, very late into the early hours of the morning. And Lake Michigan is always a tricky thing to talk about when we have severe weather.
Especially this middle of spring, if you will.
Yes.
Because the lakes haven't warmed up yet. So how is that going to play into how these storms cross the lake?
Right. So the interaction that we see when they cross from Wisconsin over Lake Michigan, coming into western Michigan, will we see them intensify? Will we see them weaken? Will we see them pretty much die off? That's going to be the big question mark. But as we've seen the radar over the past about 10 or 15 minutes, they have not really lost any strength. They have stayed very, very strong.
And that's the problem with this line of storms. We were really basing this off of, okay, if the lake starts to kill these storms, are they going to have the gusto on impact?
Right.
Probably not. But the problem is these storms have held together quite a bit. I just saw a question here. Any water spouts? John, if you could flip to velocity for us.
Yep.
This is what I'm currently looking at on my laptop here. Is you can see the wind direction. Green means it's going towards the radar. Red means it's going away from the radar. And you are currently on Grand Rapids radar.
We just switched over to Grand Rapids.
And there's right here. There's a good potential right here where green is meeting red that you could have rotation there. And that is indicating there could be a water spout here in between Sheboygan and Ludington. Now, water spouts aren't a huge concern, but what is a concern is that rotation up in those storms getting to land and decide, I'm going to make a tornado. And that is what we're watching very closely, is with this line of storms, it has been known to have embedded tornadoes in this line of storms as it's moving east. And that's what we were seeing over in Wisconsin, and that's what we're hoping doesn't happen here as it gets to Michigan, but that is what we're here to keep you informed about, is if we do have that embedded rotation in this line of storms, it could create a dust up, could create a tornado, something that you can't see from an ordinary radar, but that's why we use tools like this and the velocity to show you where that rotation could be. Because like I mentioned, green's going towards the radar, red's going away.
Right.
So where you have that meeting up, that's rotation. And that's where we could possibly have that rotation at the surface or a tornado.
Yep. So this is a feature that our weather graphics picks up on very, very well. You can see this little yellow cylinder here just right over the lake. So this is indicating, at least in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, we are seeing the winds rotating. So there is rotation associated with this line now continuing to move over the lake. So that also gives us the indication that we are not really seeing these storms weaken like on a typical day we normally would, probably at least this time of year, or if you remember back to when we were talking about that severe line moving over the lake, it did die off very, very quickly. Now, we did see a few storms from it. They were sub-severe, but the indications that we are now seeing with this higher rotation, at least in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, at least to us, tells us that this line pretty much means business. We have to watch it very, very closely as it continues to move closer to the lake shore. So areas right near Ludington, up towards Manistee, Hart, even going towards Scottsville, those are going to be some spots to watch as we're getting probably into these next few minutes. Michael.
Yeah, as this line is continuing to move east, like John has mentioned, you can see that counterclockwise motion to this line as it's slowly working its way northeast. That is not exactly what you want to see. Counterclockwise motion is a low pressure. A tornado is a very condensed low pressure system. So here's a look at the radar right now. If you're just joining us, thank you. I know we're getting a lot of questions. We see you all here. For areas inland, you've been asking Mount Pleasant, Harrison, areas up towards Grayling, Gaylord. You will be seeing these storms probably within the next 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, probably more around 11 o'clock midnight. And we are going to be stopping stream around 10 o'clock as we'll have the 10 o'clock news going on. If there is a tornado warning, we'll break in on TV as well. Once we get some severe thunderstorm warnings, we'll be breaking into TV as well as here. We'll be live on this until we can't be live anymore, and that's usually when the news is going to be starting. But as soon as the news is over, we'll pick these streams back up. We want to keep you guys informed and notified of what's going on, as well as on TV. So the thing that we are currently have right now in place is a tornado watch for the western half of the Lower Peninsula. Right here, all these counties in red, that is a tornado watch until 3 a.m. It means the ingredients are there for possibly making a tornado. It is very rare that, one, we have a tornado watch in Michigan, but two, it stretches from the basically Indiana-Michigan border all the way to the Straits. That is very, very rare. So we are again watching this very closely. The Storm Prediction Center said the ingredients are there. We're going to give you a tornado watch. That is what we currently have in place. The lakes are about, the line of storms is about 15 minutes from reaching Ludington, Muskegon area. So again, that's when we'll watch very closely. As of right now, there's a lot of marine warnings over Lake Michigan, but nothing right now for severe thunderstorm warnings on land. TC, Cadillac, Big Rapids areas, probably here within the next hour is when this line of storms will be moving in. For areas up in the eastern UP, right now, not a huge concern when it comes to the tornadic part of this storm, but could have a stronger storm or two. That is something we'll continue to watch going into the overnight hours. But again, that will be more around 11 o'clock midnight. The Lake Huron shoreline will be seeing these storms from about 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And this whole line of storms should be out of here around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., moving across Lake Huron. So everyone who is asking, western half of the Lower Peninsula, that is the tornado watch until 3 a.m. Ludington to areas along US 127 and I-75. There's a full screen for you. You will be seeing these storms move through within the hour to about midnight. So Ludington, Cadillac, Traverse City, areas all the way down to Grand Rapids, Charlevoix will be within the next hour or two. Areas towards Gaylord, Grayling, Harrison, Mount Pleasant, that will be more around midnight to 1 a.m. Mayo, Rogers City, areas towards Alpena, it'll be more around 2, 3 a.m. So that is what we are going to watch very closely. All right, so right now, this line of storms, the history of it, it moved across Wisconsin, developed in Minnesota, a lot of severe storms as well as a lot of, I'm getting a lot of text, just a second.
We've had several severe thunderstorm warnings associated with this line, and we have had not only tornado warnings associated with this line, but we have had confirmed tornadoes with this line.
Cities in Wisconsin, Juneau, had twin tornadoes touch down a mile apart. They saw quite a bit of damage there. And then there were, I think, probably 11, 12 more tornado warnings throughout areas of Wisconsin as this line moved east. Now, they also had much juicier air throughout the day. They saw that heating, that peak warming, and those storms really start to blow up. Now here in Michigan, yes, we have the tornado watch. Yes, the ingredients are there, but our air is not nearly as juicy as it was in Wisconsin. Doesn't mean we're not going to see tornadoes, but tornadoes could be a possibility as this line moves through. What else could you see with this line? You could see sizable hail. You could be seeing as well as sizable hail, but damaging winds. Doesn't mean they're tornadoes, but you could see wind gusts upwards of 75, 80, 85 miles per hour. This is what we need to watch closely with this line of storms as it continues to move into the lower peninsula. So right now, we are currently, I think it is
so here's a look at
about 15 miles offshore currently.
Yep, we're getting close. I just wanted to go over these outlooks one more time. These are looking more at a climatological standpoint. So when we start to get the numbers above 15%, when we're getting into those 30%, 45%, that is when we really have to start to pay attention to the chance for damaging winds, hail, and even the tornadic threat. So breaking down this map, and I know we showed it on the evening shows at 5 and 6 o'clock, but when you're talking about the 15%, you might think, 15%, that's not a huge percentage. Why should I be worried about that?
Right.
Well, when you're looking at it at a climatological standpoint, you're looking at it from how often over the year, or at least how often for a certain area, climatologically, do you see this occur? So when you're talking about that, that is a little bit more substantial, and you have to look at it at a probability standpoint. So when you're talking about the 15 or even the 30%, that's within any or 25 miles of any point on the map. So find yourself on the map and draw a circle 360 out to 25 miles, and that's going to be your percentage chance of seeing damaging winds, hail, and even the chance for a tornado.
Jordan had a good question. He says, a higher probability of tornadoes farther south towards Kalamazoo still the case? It was a big question mark further south. Is it still trending towards higher chances of more severe weather? That is the case, yes. Mm-hmm. Areas down towards Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, they have a much higher probability. I believe they were in the 15%.
I believe they were in the 10%.
10%?
Let's go ahead and take a look.
We have the graphic and we can bring that up for you. There you go. So areas down towards the bottom 3 rows of counties, that is more than 10%. So yeah, areas farther south.
Coldwater,
St. Joseph, yeah. Those are the areas that will have a better, will have juicier air that could possibly see tornadoes. But you can see a good chunk of our viewing area, which since we're on socials, I mean, our viewing area is pretty much everywhere that can pick us up on the internet. But here in northern Michigan, you can see that brown. That is 5% chance. Now, not trying to scare anybody here by any means, but the day the Gaylord tornado happened, almost exactly 3 years ago, they only had that 2% probability. Now, I'm not saying that to try to scare anybody. It doesn't take a big number to produce a tornado. So that's why we're here, to keep you informed and keep you safe from those cases. So when you do have the chances like this at 5%, yeah, we're going to take it very seriously. Yeah, you have 95% chance of not seeing anything. But there is a probability, and we've seen it in Wisconsin, that we could have some rotation, some very strong, severe storms, something that we're going to watch very closely. It doesn't take a storm to not be severe, or I should say, it doesn't take a severe storm to create a tornado. That storm can still create a tornado. So that is what we are going to do here this evening, is keep you informed as these storms move through, because there is a possibility as these storms start hitting land and hitting our topography that you might start getting a little more rotation. That's something unique to Michigan. Our topography does play more tricks on weather than it does, say, in southern Wisconsin, where it's a little more flat. Same for areas in southern Michigan. We have a little more hills and valleys, and that can speed up winds, can also start to force winds to rotate a bit quicker or faster than some other areas.
I will say this. I think one of the main conceptions with anything tornadic, obviously, when we say that word, I think it can be very triggering to people
Yes,
sometimes.
very much so, yeah.
So, at least personally, yourself included, me, we want to be very careful with how we word that chance when it is on the table.
100%.
I think
We want to tell you the chances, but as John's mentioning, we don't want to scare you either.
I think the main message when we have tornadic activity, especially here in northern Michigan, because it is rare, but you did mention the Gaylor tornado, and I think that's very fresh in a lot of people's minds, and how quickly things changed in a matter of minutes.
Right.
So we do not want to talk about tornadic activity as much as you don't want to hear about it.
100%.
But when we have the chance, severe weather, there's never a guarantee.
Correct.
But when we have the parameters in play, and like you did mention, I think the taco watch versus the taco warning,
Yes.
that also stuck with a lot of people as well, because, who doesn't like a good taco?
Exactly.
And you can think about it even in a different way as like making a pizza. Maybe you're not a taco person, maybe you're a pizza person. You've got all your favorite toppings, that's your pizza watch, but when you have the pizza coming out of the oven, that's your pizza warning. So same type of philosophy. But again, I just did want to mention that when we're talking about the chances for tornadoes, because it is not every day in Michigan. We average about 16 a year.
And we're already above that average.
But if you do remember, there were several weeks back when you had to break into programming. I think it was in Newaygo County. We did in Croton, near Croton. We did have a confirmed EF0 tornado. And that system brought us to our average, or I believe it might have been over our average,
15,
in the matter of a few hours.
Correct. And that's, again, that was only, I believe, a slight risk.
Yes.
So, it can be any storm, it can be any motion coming across a lake that we have to watch very closely. And that's why we want to do this for you guys all here. Jim, you were asking about, are the storms dying? What I can tell from velocity aloft right now, the storms might be looking like they are dying on reflectivity, but that is not the case. They might be recycling. So that is one thing that we can talk to you guys about while we're waiting for these to get closer to land, is storms go through recycle, kind of refreshing themselves. So as they kind of run out of steam a little bit, they start to recycle, gaining a little bit more of that juice and then firing back up and then moving. You see that quite a bit of times here in northern Michigan. On the lakeshore, you'll see them hit hard, recycle in between Baldwin, Cadillac, Reed City area, and then they're stronger once they get to like Houghton Lake, down to Clare, down to Mount Pleasant, and then kind of steamroll over to the Lake Huron shoreline. Right now, I think what these storms are doing are recycling. So we'll continue to watch these updates as we're getting them. We still have purples in here. Actually, hit the hail.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have any hail indicators.
Sure.
But right now, I think what they're doing, Jim, is they're starting to recycle. You're going to see that happen quite a bit tonight, going through the next 3-4 hours. So you're going to see this line go through a few different recycles. And that's just the storms grabbing more fresh air. So before we start getting some warnings here, what we have currently in place for the western half of the Lower Peninsula is a tornado watch, which means the ingredients are there, that this line of storms could have some embedded tornadoes in it. Again, something we'll watch very closely. That is the radar. Did we see anything on the hail signatures?
There was some.
There's a few little bits of hail possible.
Yeah, I do believe this is much more aloft, higher up in the atmosphere, because we are here. Let me put on Grand Rapids. So yeah, anywhere we do have some of those pink shadings on the map.
Yep. So all of these little spots right here.
And you have to remember too, when we're
indicators.
talking about, think about this, when you're talking about hail, you need a very strong, what we call updraft.
Updraft.
So we've got, here, let me go to the wall. I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and demonstrate this. So when we're talking about hail, you got to remember, again, you need that very strong updraft. So we need to get the moisture up into the cloud, and then we need to be able to support that moisture as it gets into those colder layers. So if we have those signatures of the pinks and the purples on the map, that tells us we have a very strong updraft, which also tells us that we're talking about a very strong storm. So that's another indication, at least to us, that even though the environment over the water is usually not as favorable for storm development, the fact that we're still seeing some of these signatures as they're pretty much right over the middle of Lake Michigan tells us that we are still seeing these storms at a pretty strong clip. And as they continue to move back over land, you also have to remember that land heats up, at least during the peak heating hours of the afternoon. That was a big reason why earlier in the newscast we were talking about the sunshine today. While it might have been a very nice sunny day, days like today really help to destabilize the atmosphere. So that gives us more potential energy to work with within the atmosphere, otherwise what we call CAPE. So you can think of that as convective, available, potential energy. How much energy does the atmosphere have to play with for these storms to develop? So that's another thing we're continuing to follow, Mike.
Yeah, and again, that's line of storms there. That is from the Grand Rapids radar, where you can see it a little bit more defined right now. I think they're running at a little bit faster clip than Gaylord. But it is about, I would say, 5-10 miles just offshore. So probably here within the next 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to start to see some warnings here fire for the Lake Michigan shoreline. I haven't confirmed that with the National Weather Service, but
let me go ahead and pull up National Weather Service chat so we can have that going.
So we are always constantly, we have a chat that we are in National Weather Service's ears and they're in our ears. So we'll get the latest on that from the Grand Rapids room. But again, if you're just joining us, the red box is here. You can see all of the western half of the Lower Peninsula. That is a tornado watch. That is currently in place until 3 a.m. And it goes from the Straits all the way down basically to the Michigan-Indiana border. It is very rare that, one, you see a tornado watch in northern Michigan, but two, it's rare that you see it cover that many counties from the Straits all the way down to the Lower Peninsula. So what you need to know right now, if you're on the Lake Michigan shoreline, areas like Frankfort, areas like Manistee, Ludington, down towards spots in Oceana, Muskegon counties, all the way down towards Holland, if you are seeing this, these storms are about 10 minutes away. So be in your safe places. Right now there are no warnings in place. Doesn't mean these storms aren't going to not be strong, because they're definitely going to be coming off the lake with some gusto, I can tell you that. Winds aloft right now are looking still quite a bit, probably in the realm of 50 to 60 miles per hour. So with winds alone, you're probably going to get some severe thunderstorm warnings here very shortly. But you need to get in a safe place. The best safe place you can be is a basement, the lowest part of the house, and away from windows. Yeah.
I will say, just checking in with the chat, this is from National Weather Service in Grand Rapids. They are possibly going to be going with a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag for Ottawa County.
Okay.
I do technically know that's a little bit farther south of our viewing area, but just going to show you how the atmosphere is being handled, or at least is behaving as of right now. So yeah, that's going to be something we'll be watching very closely in the next few minutes.
Started thundering in Ludington. Is there a storm chaser around Harrison? I talked to a storm chaser yesterday. He said he probably was not going to be out and about. Another thing you have to remember is this is coming in at night. Chasers do not like night storms just as much as we don't like night storms. You can't see anything. And chasing storms, you need to be able to see.
And I do want to say our radar is now starting to pick back up on some at least mid-level rotation.
If you go to velocity, you can definitely see it. That is the
So this is going to be areas from Oceana and
Pentwater, Ludington.
Yep. Oceana going back towards Mason counties.
Yeah, hit the velocity and you'll definitely pick it up.
Okay.
You'll see it, yeah, right there. You can see it doing that counterclockwise motion. So right here, again, what you're seeing, this blob of green and reds, green is going towards the radar, red is going away from the radar. And when you have the green and reds matching up, so let's just say you have a swath of green and all of a sudden you have red in the middle of that, that is showing to us rotation, because you have green going that way, you have red coming against it. That is showing rotation. Right now, you can see as this is kind of curving back, some of that green's going in, so you have that rotation. This is over water, and it could very much change as it gets inland, but this is what we have to watch closely up in the atmosphere at the moment. And right now, in between Ludington and Pentwater, this is moving northeast more towards Ludington. Our radar is picking up that bit of rotation. That is what that yellow cylinder is. It is saying, hey, we have some rotation here. And that is, again, what we're going to watch very closely. So yes, we are seeing everybody who is watching us right now, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. We can see everybody who is chatting. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you are watching closely for your specific location. Anywhere that is on the Lake Michigan shoreline in the next 5 minutes or so, you're going to start seeing this start to make itself known as it comes off of Lake Michigan. We do not have any severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment, but we do have a tornado watch for the western half of the lower peninsula. So anybody on the Lake Michigan shoreline, you're going to start seeing these storms here going into 9:30. Areas towards Traverse City, Cadillac, Big Rapids, down towards Grand Rapids. They will be seeing this more around 10:30. And then areas closer to the central part of the state, Gaylord, Grayling, Harrison, Clare, areas down towards Elma. They will be seeing these storms more around midnight. Oh, there's the severe thunderstorm warning.
Yep.
And this is what we were kind of wondering would happen. Multiple counties at once. You have Mason, Oceana, Muskegon, and also down into Ottawa.
Yep.
Severe thunderstorm warning until
we got that
10:45.
Yep.
And this is not a short warning by any means. So for the next hour and 15 minutes, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Mason, Oceana, Muskegon, Ottawa counties. So they are prepped and ready just like we are.
Here is the bulletin coming in from the National Weather Service from Grand Rapids. We are indicating 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail associated with this storm.
Penny size, and what are the winds?
70 miles per hour.
70 miles per hour. That's what I was seeing on the... And right now, I'm not going to lie, John, I have an absolutely nutty velocity reading just off of Ottawa's shoreline.
Yeah, I think they were talking about that in the chat where they were going to put a possible possible tag on it.
I think that's why they're going to be looking at that. I wish I could show you what I'm seeing on radar scope right now. But there could be an absolute monstrous water spout in the middle of Lake Michigan. So we'll watch that closely, but this is, again, why this line of storms is very, very dangerous, and we have to watch it. Again, we're not scaring you. We want to keep you informed and safe as this line of storms continues to head northeast. So right now we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Mason, as well as Oceana, Muskegon, and Ottawa counties until 10:45 this evening. John, if you might want to jump on TV here to let them know of that warning and what were the latest updates.
Okay.
And Quinn, if you're back there in the booth right now, okay, cool. If we could possibly get John up for a brief break-in on TV. We will stay with you here on social, so don't worry about that.
This will be very brief. This will just be about another minute, Quinn.
Within a minute? Cool. Thank you.
But yeah, for those of you just joining us, we're still talking about now active severe thunderstorm warnings, pretty much lining the entire Lake Michigan shoreline all the way from Ludington towards Manistee and even areas near Pentwater, Hart. If you're going a little bit farther downstate near Muskegon, even near Holland, this is going to be a very strong line of showers and storms. And where you do see some of these little circles, those are indications of some rotation. So like Mike was talking about, there is the chance, we're already talking about a few water spouts. Okay, we're going to hop on live to TV here in just a sec. All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We're cutting in very briefly to bring you the latest on what we're talking about as far as severe weather coverage goes, and we're talking about our first severe thunderstorm warnings now starting to cross over the lake. We are talking about that all the way from Mason County going towards Oceana County, but even a little bit farther downstate, areas near Muskegon and even going towards Holland as well. They are all talking about this active severe thunderstorm warning as this line continues to make easterly progress. Now, another thing I want to pay attention to very quickly while we have you on the air, we are seeing a few of these circles that you do see, a few of these cylinders. That's indication to us, at least within our graphics system, that there is some rotation associated with these storms as we continue to pull that up a little bit closer for you. So we are seeing that indication of the winds rotating, at least in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So this is going to be something that we're watching very, very closely as we're going throughout the next few hours. The bulletin from the National Weather Service, at least with this line, has been 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as penny-sized hail. And that warning is going to go all the way out in at least till 10:45. So again, areas from Mason County, we're talking about Oceana County, and even a little bit farther down downstate too, areas near Muskegon and even going as far south as Holland. You're talking about a very intense line now of showers and storms crossing over Lake Michigan, and this will be impacting you as we're going in throughout these next few minutes. So making sure that at least you are in a sturdy building away from doors and windows as these storms continue to make easterly progress. And the rest of western Michigan still under that tornado watch. I want to go ahead and pull that up real quick, Mike, while we're still on the air. So this is still the latest that's coming in all the way from the Straits, going as far south as Kalamazoo. We are still talking about an active tornado watch. So this is the active warning that we still do have. Severe thunderstorm warnings all the way from Manistee, Ludington, Hart, Pentwater, going farther south towards Muskegon, Holland. That's going to be in play at least until 10:45. Again, we're talking about 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized tail, and there have been some indications of some rotation at least over Lake Michigan. So we're going to follow this very, very closely. We will return you back to your regular programming. We're going to continue to follow these storms on social media. You can join us on YouTube or Facebook, and if we do happen to have an active tornado warning, we will jump back on the air. But as for right now, we will return you to your regular programming.
Wonderful job there, John.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Quinn.
Thank you, Quinn, so much. Quinn is back there helping us direct.
Yes, he's doing a great job.
Doing a wonderful job. Thank you, Quinn, for pushing the buttons for us. Welcome, everybody. If you are on socials, as John just told you there, we are continuing to follow this line of storms. We do now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Mason, Oceana, as well as Muskegon and Ottawa counties. And as John was mentioning there, what we're watching very closely and what we saw in Wisconsin with this line of storms is a tremendous amount of rotation at times. And right now it is currently over Lake Michigan, which is a good spot for it, but hopefully it doesn't translate to the Lake Michigan shoreline. But unfortunately, the way that these storms continue to recycle and move east-northeast, that is why we are here, to keep you safe from these storms as they are coming off of Lake Michigan, areas towards Ludington, areas towards Pentwater, areas down towards Muskegon. Because we are on socials, we are no longer confined to our normal viewing area. We want you to get to your safe place here. Really, the warning goes until 10:45, but these storms are going to continue to move in. So get to your safe place. Make sure you have a way of continuing to watch us in your safe place. Make sure your phones are able to charge. Make sure you have flashlights in case the power goes out, or candles. Make sure that you have everything needed in your safe place as these storms move through, because it is very possible that we could be losing power. Look from Traverse City, from the Keene Corner Sky Cam right now. Nothing that we can see off looking west, but you can see more of those clouds slowly filtering in. Traverse City, I know people were asking. You'll probably see these storms around 10:30-ish. Again, about an hour or so, as will the Lake Michigan shoreline. We'll be seeing these storms.
Let me go ahead and pull that up
as we speak. Yeah, John, you know how fast they're moving, so you can kind of give us a swath here of how quickly they're moving. But again, these are just now starting to get the wind front, or the leading portion of these storms right now, moving into areas of Mason and Oceana counties. That is where they are now starting to experience winds pick up, the heavier rain start to move in. I'm sure you're starting to hear the rumbles of thunder getting closer. But that is what we are currently dealing with right now. And there's the swath that John has pulled in. Manistee, 932. Arcadia, 937. Alberta, 937. Onekama, 937. Frankfort, around 937 as well. Bear Lake, around 939. Benzonia, around 940. Beulah, around 940. Calava, around 942. Honor, around 942. Empire, around 943. And Coatmish, around 944. If you move a little bit farther south, John.
Yep.
Let's get with that warning and let you know where this line is going to be moving east.
Yep, last check, these storms are moving pretty quick, about 55 miles per hour to the east. So let's go ahead and do this.
So Shelby, around 932. New Era, around 933. Hart, Pentwater, 933. Rothbury, around 934. Same for Montague. Roosevelt Park, Whitehall, Grand Haven, Norton Shores, all 934. Ferrysburg, 935. North Muskegon, 935. Ludington, around 935. And then Spring Lake, around 936. So again, these storms are moving pretty quickly. Now, when you have storms like this on a line moving at 60, 65 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour possibly at times, those winds are going to translate down at the surface just as that storm moves by, more than likely at 50, 55, 60 miles per hour. And that's what we've been seeing with this storm, with embedded rotation in this line of storms as it moved across Wisconsin. So if you're just tuning in, welcome everybody. We appreciate you being here. The Lake Michigan shoreline just starting to get into those severe storms, as we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 10:45 for Mason, Oceana, Muskegon, and Ottawa counties. Not to mention, we do have a tornado watch for the western half of the lower peninsula. You heard me right there, western half of the lower peninsula, basically from Kalamazoo to the Straits. Tornado warning tornado watch until 3 a.m. Doesn't mean there's tornadoes on the ground. It doesn't mean you're going to be impacted by a tornado. It just means the ingredients are right to possibly produce a tornado as this line of storms moves through. There's downtown Cadillac right now looking to the north. As of right now, nothing going on here. But again, Cadillac, one area that could see those storms start to move in around 10:30, 10 o'clock, 10:15ish, as this line continues to make its way offshore.
And I do want to say, I circled 3 areas, and we were kind of touching on this before. Our system allows us to see rotation not only at the surface, but as you're going up throughout the atmosphere in the mid-levels of the cloud. And we do now, this is the current scan that we just got in from the radar from Grand Rapids, and there are now 3 indications that we are at least talking about some mid-level rotation. So that is just off of shore Muskegon. And then you're talking about that probably very close to areas as you're going a little bit farther south of Ludington, so you're closer to Oceana County.
Yeah.
I would say near Pentwater, even near Hart, are going to be a few spots to really watch.
Yep. We're just now starting to see that gust front. If this is one of those lines of storms, if you were to be at Lake Michigan, I'm not telling you to do this right now, but if you were at Lake Michigan looking out over the water, you would see a tremendous shelf cloud.
Yes.
From north to south. It'd be the same exact shelf cloud from Frankfort down to Muskegon. But with this, pop-up velocity,
Okay.
John, if you could. Let's explain some of these, why we're so concerned about this.
Yep.
Okay, so you can see that here is the Grand Rapids radar. Go to the Grand Rapids radar real quick. And you can see the red right here, down here towards Kentwood.
Okay.
You're good. So down at the radar site, if you go down south, you can see that the red is moving this way, green is moving that way. So when we're looking at this, this should be red. This is not red. This is green. That is telling us the winds are going the wrong direction there. So that is indicating to us rotation. And this is a juicy spot that I was seeing here on my laptop.
We just got a few more that popped up. There's now, looks like 4.
4 up here. So yeah, this is the concern. This is exactly what we didn't want to see crossing Lake Michigan. These storms are not dying crossing Lake Michigan. They are actually continuing to pick up velocity.
I'm not one to issue tornado warnings, but seeing 3 indications of rotation now approaching Oceana County, I would
definitely get to your safe place.
I would definitely make sure you're in your safe place, or you are going to be able to get to your safe place within a very short period of time.
And that is why we are doing this, because we knew this could be a possibility with this line. We saw it all afternoon in Wisconsin, and we saw that it started crossing Lake Michigan, and I told John as I got in, I was like, all right, let's see how these cross the lake.
And we got a new severe warning for
Manistee.
Manistee and Benzie.
All right, so National Weather Service in Gaylord has joined the party, and they have issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Benzie and Manistee until 10:45 as well. So they matched Grand Rapids warning. So the entire Lake Michigan shoreline from Frankfort down to essentially Muskegon and Ottawa counties has a severe thunderstorm warning until 10:45, as these are just now starting to get off the lake. So areas on the immediate Lake Michigan shoreline, counties on the Lake Michigan shoreline, find your safe place. Until 10:45, you're going to have these storms working their way from west to east. So as John's getting closer here, you can see anywhere. Let's go back north and do this.
Okay.
Turn the radar on if you could too. So Frankfort, you're just now starting to get some sprinkles. Honor, Weldon, Pleasanton, you're going to be a little bit later. Lake Ann, you're going to be more towards 10:30 as these storms continue to work their way inland. You can see M115, also M31, part of this warning. Onekama, you're starting to see maybe winds pick up a little bit, maybe a few sprinkles. You haven't seen that line get off the lake just yet. Manistee, areas following south into Mason County, you're starting to see those rain showers pick up as they are making their way off of Lake Michigan. And in fact, Manistee, it looks like those storms, same for Ludington, are about just a mile or two offshore. So they are working their way to you at about 55 miles per hour. Areas towards Ludington, Pentwater, Hart, Shelby, those storms already now into Oceana County. So there's already a cell that is showing us that it actually has quite a bit of strength there just west of Shelby, making its way inland. So areas there in Oceana County, make sure you are seeking your safe place. Again, lowest part of your house is the best option, away from windows. If you don't have a basement, interior room with no windows. Make sure you have some way of keeping yourself safe, whether it's helmet, maybe it's steel-toed boots. You don't want anything crashing down on you. If you are in the safe place, or if you don't have a safe place, maybe hunker down under a very sturdy table, something that you can possibly take shelter from these storms as they're coming off of Lake Michigan. Now, we don't have tornado warnings. We have severe thunderstorm warnings, and we have a tornado watch. The problem is this line of storms has been known to have rotation or tornadoes embedded in them back in Wisconsin. So that is what we're watching very closely, and that was what John was pointing out there. You can see on that screen of the radar, there are 3 key points of rotation just offshore on Lake Michigan. So that is why we were watching this very closely as it is working its way east. Is it east-northeast, John? At about 55 miles
check the bulletin.
per hour.
They got east at 55.
East at 55 miles per hour. So we are keeping tabs. We do have everyone pulled up that is watching this currently on socials right now. So if you are commenting, look through these comments real quick, see if anybody is. So yeah, we can run through that again. A lot of people asking what about our areas. Western half of the lower peninsula. So right now, the immediate Lake Michigan shoreline, we're right now starting to see these storms off of Lake Michigan. Areas towards Traverse City, Cadillac, Big Rapids, more than likely around 10:30. Areas over towards Gaylord, Grayling, down towards Harrison, Clare, Mount Pleasant, more around 11:30 midnight. Areas east of that, over towards Lake Huron shoreline, that is going to be more towards 1, 2 a.m. and then leaving Lake Huron shoreline at 3 a.m. That is what we're going to continue to watch here throughout this evening. In about half an hour, we'll have the 10 o'clock news where John will give you the latest that we have with those in his weather forecast, but at the same time, we'll have Adam in here giving you the little bits of news. As long as we don't have a tornado warning. If we have a tornado warning, we will be live with you here on socials as well as also on TV.
Absolutely.
So Traverse City, that will be more 10:30-ish. Here tonight. So there you go. John's kind of put a line there of what we're expecting. Shelby around 9:35, Roosevelt Park, Grand Haven, Norton Shores, Hart, Ludington, all 9:35. New Era, Montague, Port Sheldon, Spring Lake, Whitehall, Muskegon, all 9:37. Rothbury, 9:38. So here in the next 4 or 5 minutes, we'll continue to see those. Oh, we do have a tornado warning now, Newaygo County. John, if you could head over the green screen.
Yep.
We are going to have to go live here, Quinn, until this warning is done, please. And
Let's take a look. Yep,
it's
that's
that
going
velocity.
Till, 10:15.
10:15. All right. So we do have a tornado warning that has just been issued for Newaygo County.
Yep, Newaygo County.
Muskegon and southwestern Newaygo County. So areas right now in Muskegon, make sure you are getting to your safe place. We do now have a tornado warning for Muskegon and southwestern Newaygo County until 10:15.
10:15, yep.
So Quinn, yes, take us live and we'll stay there
thank you.
until it's broken.
All right, Northern Michigan, thank you for joining us. We did need to break into programming because we are now talking about an active tornado warning just off to our south. We're talking about this not only for Muskegon County, but even going into southwestern Newaygo County. So we are talking about a very strong indication right there where you do see this little cylinder of rotation. So areas from Dalton, Muskegon, northern Norton Shores, even towards Grand Haven. You're going to want to get to your safe place immediately. We're talking about potential for a tornado to touch down. We have not seen the indication as of yet, but we now do have the active tornado warning. Again, this is coming in from Grand Rapids Time frame right here, we're talking about this until 10:15. So we're at about 9:36, so we've got about 45 minutes to go with this storm. And still, this is going to be something we're talking about over the next few minutes as we are still watching this very strong line of showers and storms moving through the region. Mike, if we could go ahead and go back up just a little bit.
Yes, I got you here.
Let's go ahead and talk about a few other spots we're watching, because not only did we see indications of rotation just offshore near Muskegon, but areas just offshore of Oceana County. We have seen several indications, at least in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, of some rotation. So that is going to be another cell we're going to continue to watch very, very closely. As of right now, we're talking about active severe thunderstorm warnings all the way from Benzie County towards Grand Traverse, going a little bit farther south. So that includes areas near Frankfort, Manistee. You're talking about Ludington, Pentwater, Hart. You're all talking about active severe thunderstorm warnings at this hour. But the main reason why we're breaking into programming as of right now is because now we're talking about active tornado warnings. So here's a look at our velocity. Remember, the greens are the winds going towards the radar. Reds are away. So when you're starting to see that tight couplet of where the reds and the greens come together, that's an indication that we are talking about strong rotation. So here's a look at some of those winds right now. So you're talking about 72 to 79, and then if we can get a little bit more in the green. So indications that the winds, regardless of what you're seeing here on your screen, very, very strong.
Yes, they are very strong.
We're figuring it out. But yes, we're talking about a particularly dangerous situation. I know this is technically just to our south, areas in Muskegon, but I do know we do have several people that do watch us in this area. So this is a big reason why, again, we're talking about this active tornado warning now, not only for Muskegon County, but eventually clipping northwest, or I should say southwestern Newaygo County.
Yes.
We're talking about that until 9:15.
And that's the other reason, John, that we are breaking into coverage here, because southern Newaygo County and northern Oceana County and northern Muskegon, or excuse me, southern Oceana and northern Muskegon counties do get us over the air.
Correct.
So those areas right now that are in southwestern Newaygo County, northern portions of Muskegon County, this is what we are seeing right now with that velocity, as John is showing you there, just off the coast.
Yep.
That is what we're watching very closely, is that is 80, close to 90 miles per hour in the atmosphere with rotation.
Yep.
So that is, again, the reason for the tornado watch, and it goes until 10:15 here this evening. And the western half of the Lower Peninsula is under a tornado watch until 3 a.m.
Yep. So as you are now joining us here on not only Facebook and YouTube, but now we're live on the air, we're talking about an active tornado warning for Muskegon County as well as Newaygo County, 10:15. Signs of indication, or at least signs of rotation, have been associated with the storm, now starting to move just over the lake shore. Very, very close. Anywhere you do see some of those darker pinks and even some of the purples on the map, very, very heavy rainfall, very strong winds. We're also probably talking about a very strong hail core with this system, as Mike is just pulling up the hail. So anywhere you do see, again, some of those pinks and the purples on the map, that shows us that we're talking about hail associated with this system. And some of the, at least information that was coming in from the National Weather Service from Grand Rapids earlier this afternoon, and at least from the Storm Prediction Center too, was telling us that we had the chance at least to reach hailstone sizes. Remember that diameter of the hailstone. We need it to be at least 1 inch plus in diameter to be considered severe. There is the chance we could talk about these hailstones reaching 2+ inches. So that easily could do damage to your car. That easily could do damage to anything, property that you have outside. That potentially could even break a window. So this is a big reason why we're following this storm very, very closely. Again, areas from Dalton, Muskegon, Norton Shores, and as you're going farther east inland throughout Muskegon and even going towards Newaygo County, you want to make sure that you are getting to your safe zone right now.
Yes.
A building, or I should say a basement, a storm shelter, the lowest level of your home is going to be the place that you want to be. We do know that some people do not have a basement, so where should you go? Well, good question. We're talking about an interior room away from doors and windows. That can be a hallway, that can be a closet, that can be a bathroom, and making sure that you're staying away from windows. That's going to be the key message here. Another thing that we like to talk about when we have any active tornado warnings is making sure that you are protecting yourself. It might sound a little bit silly, but putting a helmet on your head in case there is any flying debris, or you can have a hard book potentially maybe over your neck, making sure that you're staying prepared and safe from any potential flying debris.
And what you have there behind you, John, is the storm threats that we are currently seeing for that area. You can see that cone of rotation as you were pointing out. Yes, we are seeing that rotation and wind damage there just offshore of Norton Shores, Muskegon, which has a path towards southwest Newaygo County. That is why we're breaking in here. That tornado warning includes southwest Newaygo County and areas in northern Muskegon County,
right.
Which is part of our viewing area. But again, this line of storms has a history of embedded tornadoes in that line of storms. And right now that line of storms stretches up towards Frankfort all the way down to the Chicago area and is crossing Lake Michigan as we speak. Yep. It is very rare that we have a tornado watch, but two, for the entire western half of the lower peninsula to have a tornado watch, and that goes until 3 a.m.
Absolutely.
Again, you have to be weather aware tonight. Areas right now on the immediate Lake Michigan shoreline, make sure you're getting to your safe place, and especially Muskegon County.
And if we can pull this back up, now we're seeing another indication here of rotation, and as you can see, anywhere from Grand Haven to Norton Shores, just to the south of Muskegon Heights.
Fruitport.
This is now starting to move onshore. So not only are we talking about the potential for one tornado, but there is the potential for two tornadoes. Now, we haven't seen any confirmation, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, from the National Weather Service.
We have not seen anything that is confirming a tornado on the ground just yet. But again, this is a prime example of what we've been seeing in Wisconsin. They had twin tornadoes less than a mile apart over towards Juneau earlier this evening. It is not out of place for this line of storms to have multiple vorticities with within close vicinity. So it is very possible that we have the makings of possible tornadoes right now coming ashore off of Lake Michigan for Muskegon County, heading towards southwest Newaygo County.
And I do want to go ahead and go back, if we can, to Oceana County, because we were talking about a few more indications of some rotation, at least in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, that were on our radar just about 10 or 15 minutes ago. So areas near Hart, even going towards Pentwater, we're now starting to see the at least leading edge of these storms moving onshore. So if you're anywhere, again, from Muskegon all the way up towards Oceana County, even going towards Mason County, you're probably at least hearing some thunder, if not even experiencing some lightning, maybe some gusty winds on the front end of this storm system. So even still, even though we're not technically talking about an active tornado warning for some of our counties a little bit farther off to the north, particularly dangerous situation, a place you don't want to be outside. You just still want to make sure, even though we're still talking about just severe thunderstorm warnings, making sure that you're in a sturdy building away from doors and windows, and if you can, on the lowest level of your home. And not a bad idea, especially for areas in this tornado warning, making sure that you're grabbing a closed pair of shoes. It might sound a little bit silly, but you have to think about after the fact of the storm, even if we don't have a lot of debris from the system, there still can be things on the ground that can be a little bit hazardous to your feet. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your feet in case we are talking about the chance for debris just lining anywhere on the streets or anything like that. Just another good tip to talk about. So as we bring back up the radar, again, we're talking about, if you're just joining us, now we're talking about an active tornado warning. This is for Muskegon County as well as southwestern Newaygo County. So areas just to the south of Dalton, really right there near Muskegon, Norton Shores, and just to the north of Grand Haven. This is still the big reason why we're talking about this. So where you do see this little cylinder here, or at least both of these cylinders, this is indications to us within our computer system that we're talking about the indications of rotation within this storm. So that's a big reason why the National Weather Service, at least from Grand Rapids, has gone with this active tornado warning. Again, your time frame right up here, we're talking about that until 10:15. So last check, we're at about 9:45. So we do have about another half hour to go with this system.
Yes, John, and as we mentioned, and we'll show you here very shortly if you're just joining us, the reason that we are staying here with this tornado warning on TV, we're also live on our socials, 910 News YouTube channel as well as Facebook page, is because southwest Newaygo County is in our viewing area, so is northern Muskegon County. So we are going to continue to hang with this tornado warning and bring you the latest updates with it. As of right now, the tornado warning is for northern Ottawa County, southwestern Newaygo County, as well as Muskegon County until 10:15. This severe thunderstorm is capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage. It was located 10 miles west of Grand Haven, 14 miles southwest of Muskegon, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So it is now just starting to reach land. And like John was mentioning, we are seeing the indications, very strong indications of rotation in the atmosphere. What you can see behind me right here is that storm coming offshore of Lake Michigan, heading to the northeast towards southwestern Newaygo County. Now, even though you're not in this warning right now, areas just south of White Cloud, southern Newaygo County, you need to be weather aware right now. You need to have that plan ready those areas in northern Muskegon County, those areas heading east, be mindful of what is happening right now. Make sure you have a plan in place. Make sure that you get to your safe place. As John was mentioning, a basement is the best place to be right now. But if you don't have a basement, an interior room of your house, not near any windows, is the best place. Also, like he mentioned, a helmet, some steel-toed boots, something that your toes aren't exposed, your head isn't exposed in case debris does fall or fly. Now, a lot of people have been asking us online, and I'm sure you might be asking in TV, when are these storms going to be reaching us? Areas on the Lake Michigan shoreline right now, from Benzie all the way down to Oceana, Muskegon counties, you have a severe thunderstorm warning. Muskegon to southwestern Newaygo County, you have a active tornado warning until 10:15. The entirety of the western half of the lower peninsula currently has a tornado watch until 3 a.m. That is because the ingredients are still there that we could produce more tornadoes for the entire western half of the lower peninsula as the night moves on. Doesn't mean you'll see a tornado. It doesn't mean a tornado is currently on the ground. The watch means the ingredients are there for the possibility of making a tornado. The only warning we have right now for a tornado warning is Muskegon County and southwestern Newaygo County, as these are just now coming off of Lake Michigan. So areas from Traverse City down towards Cadillac, Big Rapids, you'll see these storms around 10:30. Areas towards Gaylord, Grayling, Clare, Harrison, Mount Pleasant, you'll see these storms around midnight-ish. And then for areas east of that, closer to the Lake Huron shoreline, you'll be seeing it from 1 to 2 a.m., leaving at 3 a.m. So right now, again, tornado warning for Muskegon and southwestern Newaygo County going until 10:15. Turn that velocity on there, John. See if we got some colors. Oh yeah, that is not happy. So what we are seeing right now is this storm has moved inland into Muskegon County, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. And you can see this rotation, this green and red. It might not seem like anything to you, but what this is indicating is winds going one direction, winds going the other direction. And right now we're starting to see that counterclockwise motion right here collapsing around that. That is indicating to us that we do have some rotation, not tornado organized just yet, but it is possible as this continues to move in. So we do have some rotation being indicated by radar moving into Muskegon County and heading towards Bridgeton, southwestern Newaygo County. So it is following the Muskegon River. And that is what we are watching very closely, because that is going right into southwestern Newaygo County towards US 131. So again, there is an active tornado warning in Muskegon County heading towards southwestern Newaygo County. That is why you're seeing us on your TV sets, and that is why we are live on socials currently for you across northern Michigan and across Michigan in general. The velocities that we are seeing right now are the same velocities that they were seeing over in Wisconsin, where they had a lot of tornadoes embedded in this line of storms that we're seeing move off of Lake Michigan.
So here's a look at some of the estimated times we're talking about for southwestern Newaygo County.
Yeah, Fremont, Bridgeton, Ashland, Croton, White Cloud.
Fremont, Grant, Ashland, Newaygo, White Cloud, Croton, Big Prairie. We're talking about, that's going to be what we're talking about with this active tornado warning and the indications of the rotation, at least eventually moving into southwestern Newaygo County. So you're talking about, again, 9:49, so a lot of these times just after 10 o'clock. So that gives you about 10 to 15 minutes if the rotation does hold steady. If that's going to continue to move off to the east, this is going to be some of the, again, estimated times where you want to make sure that you are getting into your safe spot. You want to make sure that you're in a basement, storm shelter, away from doors and windows, because even if we do not have a tornado technically produced from this storm, we're still going to be talking about very, very strong winds on the leading edge of this line moving through.
Yeah, John, and what you're indicating there, so again, that box, that tornado warned box is right here. Fremont, even though you're not in that warned area, you're just a little hair north of it, you need to be weather aware as well, because that box doesn't mean the tornado can't move out of that box. Someone had a great question online.
Sure.
They said, do we have a confirmed tornado yet? We have not had confirmation that this is a tornado on the ground. Right now we have radar indication that we have rotation and that it could possibly produce a tornado. So that is what we are seeing. It is in Muskegon County heading towards southwestern Newaygo County. A lot of people have been asking, what about us? What about us? Right now we're watching this very closely as this is an active situation. There are severe thunderstorm warnings right now for Benzie, Manistee, Mason, Oceana, Muskegon, and Ottawa counties until 10:45. That line of storms will continue to move east-northeast here, about 55 miles per hour throughout the night, and they have held their gusto crossing Lake Michigan, as we are seeing right now in Muskegon County. And I can honestly tell you, from what I am seeing on the velocity on radar scope, it doesn't look good.
No, this is an update coming in from the National Weather Service from Grand Rapids. They're prepping Kent and southern Newaygo County for 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Okay, so this is kind of indicative of an EF0. I'm not saying this is a tornado, but with what we are seeing from velocity and from the wind gusts that they are reporting at the surface, this has the makings of a very small tornado if there is one on the ground. But again, we are seeing all indications pointing to the possibility of this a tornado. Did I just lose Mike? Hello? Maybe it was my IFB? I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Can you hear?
No. Can you hear me though?
Quinn, I can hear you.
I don't know if my IFB is working.
I think you're good.
I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my IFB died, so I can't hear myself. Sorry about that. We are continuing to watch this very closely. Again, Muskegon County heading towards southwestern Newaygo County, active tornado warning. We are seeing the ingredients there indicating that there is the possibility of a tornado in Muskegon County heading towards southwestern Newaygo County. And it has not been confirmed as of yet.
Sure. And I do want to just go ahead and go back to where we still do have other active warnings in play. Not active tornado warnings, but we are talking about severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's all the way up from Benzie County. We're talking about areas near Frankfort. We'll go ahead and zoom in here a little bit closer. Honored, Pleasanton, Okema. We're talking about Manistee. Going a little bit farther south, Amber, Ludington, you're starting to see these storms moving through as we do speak. Last check with these initial storms, we were talking about the winds at 70+ miles per hour, as well as penny-sized hail. So we have areas near Ludington, Pentwater. This storm is right on top of you. It does look like they just went with a new severe thunderstorm warning, and they did label it as a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. That's probably the indication for the 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Okay, here's the latest bulletin coming in. Yep, we're talking about 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, penny-sized hail associated with that storm. So Kent County as well as Newaygo County. Mm-hmm. You'll talk about that until 11:15. 11:15.
So that's, again, kind of right on our time frame with these storms as they are moving east. Again, heading towards M37, probably right around 10:15, 10:30. Probably going to be reaching US 131 right around 11:30-ish. So again, we do have a tornado-warned storm moving through Muskegon County towards southwestern Newaygo County. And you might be asking yourself, well, why am I seeing you on TV right now? And that is because southern Newaygo County is in our viewing area, same for areas in northern Muskegon County. They do get us over the air, and we are on cable down there. So that is why we're on TV. We're also live on socials at the moment, and we are seeing chats here with everybody asking questions, and that is why we're here to keep you safe and informed. So if you are in southwestern Newaygo County, we are pulling data from the radar showing us that we do have rotation right now towards areas of Sullivan in Muskegon County, just south of M46. This is heading northeast at about 55 miles per hour. That's from Grand Rapids, right? The Grand Rapids radar? Right there. Actually,
let me pull this up.
There you go. So you can see this backside right here. This storm is showing a lot of wind aloft. And again, these are very tight couplets for areas, even there in northern Muskegon County, up towards North Muskegon, the Muskegon River there. That is where we're also seeing the potential for that rotation right here, where those winds are being introduced on that counterclockwise motion. That is heading towards areas like Bridgeton, areas towards Fremont, Newaygo, Grant, Ashland. There is that new warning for Newaygo County, that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that goes until 11:45. 11:45 or was it 11:15?
11:15.
11:15, excuse me. Right here, you can see that we have rotation now being indicated just off Lake Michigan shoreline towards Whitehall. Whitehall, again, we are watching that very closely. This whole line of storms, this is what we were watching very closely, can have that rotation and possible tornadoes embedded in those storms. You can't see them from normal Doppler radar. You have to look at the velocities, you have to look at the correlation coefficients, you have to look at everything that Doppler radar does that you might not be so used to. There's the line of storms as it is now exiting Lake Michigan. We are seeing areas up towards Manistee, spots up towards Frankfort. You're about 15 minutes away from seeing these storms, but Manistee, all the way down to Ludington, down through Oceana County, into Muskegon County, that line of storms is moving onshore and currently moving northeast at about 55 miles per hour. We have an active tornado warning in Muskegon County and southwestern Newaygo County, where winds have been reported upwards of 80 miles per hour. And we have rotation down here in a few different cells in Muskegon County and a new severe thunderstorm warning there for Kent and Newaygo counties until 11:15. And it's a little bit more than just a severe thunderstorm warning. It is a severe thunderstorm warning with possible destruction to it because of those 80-mile-per-hour winds that they're seeing in Muskegon County. So again, if you're seeing us right now, it's for a tornado warning in Muskegon County and also southwestern Newaygo County. We're also live on socials, where we will continue to be here throughout the evening. But John, right now, if you could...
I'm going to get a new track.
Yes, he's going to track this for us so we can tell you exactly where it's going to be heading as we head into this evening. Adam just sat down next to me. Adam, do you have to...
We have a show in
Yes. We do have... we'll continue with this tornado warning here just briefly, and then we will continue to see the track here as John is pulling it up. It looks like right now, just now starting to enter into southwestern Newaygo County with that line of storms that has been tornado warned. So areas towards Croton, White Cloud, Fremont, spots down towards Bridgeton, you need to get to your safe places as we speak, as we have that warning continuing to move in. And you need to find your safe places. Basements are the key spot. If you don't have a basement, make sure you find those interior rooms without windows. That is going to be the second best place you can be. Something very sturdy that you can hunker under, as we don't want anything to fall or fly through the air and strike you. So you definitely want to keep yourself safe with these storms continuing to move in. Again, the biggest threats with these storms are going to be sizable hail, damaging winds, and like we're seeing here, the possibility of isolated tornadoes. And the entire western half of the Lower Peninsula currently under a tornado watch until 3 a.m. because conditions are ripe for possibly producing those tornadoes into tonight. John, did you get that track for that storm?
For the tornado?
Yes, please.
Let me get that for you again. Yep.
We're going to show you exactly this track and when it will be impacting those areas throughout southern Newaygo County with this track. But again, tornado warning for southwestern Newaygo County and into Muskegon County. That goes until 10:15 as we have that track right there. Areas towards Kent City, Ashland, Grant, Cedar Springs, Croton, Sand Lake, Howard City, all within the next half hour. Ravenna at 10:02, that's in Muskegon County there. Cedar Springs at 10:21. Those spots in southwestern Newaygo County, they just adjusted the tornado warning, so it is cut off more of northern Muskegon County, closer to southwestern Newaygo. So Bridgeton, you're included in that. You'll see this all working its way to the east-northeast here within the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you could hit velocities real quick, John.
Yep.
And we'll see how this is rolling. There you go. You can see the velocities right now. A lot of you might be seeing this and saying, what am I looking at? Green is going towards, red is going away. So once you start seeing these mixing, or you start seeing red or green inside the middle of that, or the brighter the colors, that means we are seeing, one, stronger winds with brighter colors, but once they're interacting this way, we're seeing that rotation. And that's how we make out tornadoes with this type of line of storms, is when you can't see it on the reflectivity, you look at velocity, and this is where you can start making out that rotation. And that is why we have right now a tornado warning in Muskegon County and southwestern Newaygo County until 10:15. And there you go. There's an idea of where this line is going to. Bridgeton around 10:02. Make sure, Bridgeton, you are in your safe places. Areas towards Ashland, as well as areas towards Newaygo, right around 10:10. Again, make sure you're in your safe places. Croton around 10:19. And then areas towards Howard City around 10:28. Morley around 10:31. And Stanwood around 10:36. As much as I would like to hand this off to you, Adam, you cool with us staying with us until it expires here?
When does it expire?
10:15. So we're going to continue to hang with this until We have the warning expired for our viewing area. For those that are watching online right now, again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning from Benzie County all the way down to Newaygo County, Oceana, Mason, as well as Manistee. For the line of storms that is coming off of Lake Michigan, we have an active tornado warning right now for southwestern Newaygo County as well as eastern Muskegon County. Now, southwestern Newaygo County is part of our viewing area. That's why we're keeping you informed here. So those areas closer to Bridgeton right now, that is where we're going to continue to watch this very closely, as we have that rotation right now heading towards the track is right towards Bridgeton, kind of right up the Muskegon River. That is what we're watching very closely right here in the southwest portion of Newaygo County. So that is continuing to move to the northeast. That is where our attention is currently right now with this track of storms going to the east, northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So those areas in southwestern Newaygo County, get to your safe place immediately. You could be experiencing winds 80 plus miles per hour, sizable hail, as well as the possibility that there is a tornado moving into your section of Newaygo County. And right now, in fact, John, if you go to the northwest corner of the tornado warning, it looks like we have, velocity-wise, it looks like we are picking up a little bit of a couplet.
Stronger couplet.
To the northwest section there.
Let me pause this.
Right here, towards Holton, northwest of the warning.
Oh, gotcha.
Right there.
Yep.
That is, to me, indicating that there could be some organization there. Again, watching that very closely. Yes, exactly where he drew. So areas just south of Holton, heading towards Bridgeton, as well as Fremont. This couplet has me a little more concerned here. That is northern Muskegon County, east of 31, crossing the Newaygo County line and heading into areas towards Bridgeton. Again, this couplet right here is indicating to me that there is a little bit more tornadic organization. It is not very bright, so it doesn't look like it is going to be, ooh, I don't like that update. That has a little bit more of a hook to it. So again, watching that very closely, but that is why we're here with that tornado warning for northern Muskegon County heading into southwestern Newaygo County. So Fremont, Bridgeton, Newaygo, Grant, Ashland, you are all included in this. Fremont, you might just be on the barrier of that tornado warning, but act as if you're in it. Those areas that you might just be sharing the line, get to your safe places. That tornado doesn't have boundaries. It can jump around. So again, right here, south of Holton, this section heading into Newaygo County is what has me a little bit more concerned at the moment. So again, we're watching this line of storms coming off of Lake Michigan, and currently severe thunderstorm warnings in place for Benzie, Manistee, Mason, Oceana, Newaygo counties, as well as also down into Muskegon and Ottawa counties. We have a tornado warned storm right now for Muskegon and southwestern Newaygo counties, and that's what we have up here right now. These areas in our viewing area, Fremont, Bridgeton, the Muskegon River right here, following all the way up into Newaygo. Newaygo, you are part of the tornado warning. You were right on the far eastern edge of it. Right here is where, towards just south of Holton, that is where we have had rotation picked up for heading towards southwestern Newaygo County, and there's also been some rotation farther south into southern Muskegon County, northern Ottawa County. But again, this is moving east at about 55 miles per hour.
Looks like we do have a few new severe thunderstorm warnings to the north. I do want to bring your attention to that.
It looks like Lake has been added there.
Yep, we got Lake County now.
Lake County now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. This is more than likely what you're going to continue to see here throughout the overnight hours, is you're just going to see every county start to get warned, because this line of storms is pretty, still very robust. We saw it over in Wisconsin throughout the late afternoon, evening hours. Quite a few areas we're seeing this line of storms, but also there were sizable tornadoes over in Wisconsin that did quite a bit of damage. It rode across Lake Michigan, and it held quite a bit of gusto. Now coming off of Lake Michigan, we are seeing a tornado warning actively for Muskegon and southwestern Newaygo counties. We have a tornado watch for the entire western half of the lower peninsula until 3 a.m. We have severe thunderstorm warnings now. The newest one for Lake County right here, that goes until 11:30. So Baldwin, you now have a severe thunderstorm warning. Manistee, you are now starting to see that storm just off of Lake Michigan. More than likely, you are seeing extremely gusty winds, but also heavy amounts of rain and possibly some hail. And then right here, this this tornado warning, there's now a new tornado warning farther south
If you
into
wanna
Ottawa.
Go ahead and take a look at this. Ottawa County.
It looks like Holland right now in the center of that. But let's go back up to Newaygo County.
Yep.
Right here. Areas right now, Fremont, Bridgeton, you are seeing that section that we were fearing had a little bit of organization to it. Looks like right now there's still that distinct difference. So we're continuing not to see, we're not seeing the pure indication of a tornado, but we are seeing the rotation aloft. It is not organized, which is good news there. But again, this is not confirmed on the ground. What we are seeing is that it is radar indicated possibility of a tornado for southwestern Newaygo County. So we are seeing right now very close that these winds continue to mix. They are just not organized for us to see a distinct tornado just yet. But right here, you can see these red winds here, these green winds here, just south of Holton. That is what is still holding my attention when I look at that.
Just get a new scan on it, so let's get a new track.
Yep. And are you looking at it from Grand Rapids?
I am.
I don't. Do I have? Can you look under the color table and see if radar scope's on there? I think it might just be Alpena.
It is just
Alpena?
yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to brighten up the colors to see if we can see this. So again, this cell that is tornado warned is moving northeast right now, east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So Fremont around 1010, Grant around 1014, Newaygo around 1016, Croton around 1024, Big Prairie around 1027, Howard City around 1033, Morley around 1036, Stanwood around 1039, and Lakeview around 1045. So make sure if you're in these areas, especially Fremont, Bridgeton, areas towards Newaygo, make sure you are getting to your safe place right now. Make sure you have ways of keeping us with you in your safe place. Make sure you have all of the protection needed if you're in the basement or if you're in the interior room of your home with no windows. Make sure you have a helmet. Make sure you have some sort of closed-toe shoe just in case stuff does start to fall. You are protected from that. Don't go outside to see what you can see. Don't do that. Make sure you are protected from these storms as they are continuing to head to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour.
We did get reports of Muskegon reaching 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and we're also getting reports of the Lake County
Emergency manager?
Let me see.
John is checking our chat
Nope.
with National Weather
This is
Service.
from the National Weather Service, from somebody from Grand Rapids, saying 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts associated with the storm moving throughout Lake County. So
Lake
I'm going to
County.
go ahead and reset, and we'll go ahead and take you a little bit farther north.
Yep, right here. So they're starting to see the beginning portion. So it's, okay, so it's not necessarily, the winds are not starting with the main parts of the storm, it's right here. So where you see that rain starting to fall, that is the gust front. You're starting to see those winds on the leading edge of this line. So areas towards Big Rapids, more than likely you've already seen the winds start to pick up. Cadillac, you'll probably be within the next 25 minutes or so. Areas up towards Frankfort, you've seen the winds pick up, but the storm is starting to move in off of Lake Michigan. So again, we have those severe thunderstorm warnings in Benzie, Manistee, Mason, Lake, Oceana, Newaygo, as well as Muskegon. And then we also have that active tornado warning right now in southwestern Newaygo County. And at the moment, it's still playing the trick at the moment with velocity. Oh man. I will tell you this, in southwestern Newaygo County, I am not seeing a clear indication of a tornado, but there is indication that rotation is still there. So again, we're watching that very closely for this tornado warning. That goes until 10:15, so the next 5 minutes. I would not be shocked if they decide to extend this. But right now, again, the Lake Michigan shoreline, basically severe thunderstorm warnings, but again, there is an active tornado warning in southwestern Newaygo County for this section. Has our attention. You can see these winds right here trying to organize. And what you're seeing in the green and red, if you're wondering what you're looking at, it's not your typical Doppler radar. These are the winds. Green is going towards the radar, red is going away from the radar. When you have the greens and reds interacting, on the other side of the given line, that is showing us indicating rotation. And that is what we're seeing here in southwestern Newaygo County. So Bridgeton, Fremont, Newaygo, you are included in this. Ashland, this is heading northeast at 55 miles per hour. Get to your safe places right now for those areas in southern Newaygo County. These storms have a long history of capable of producing tornadoes, sizable hail, and torrential rain, as well as the extremely gusty winds, possibly damaging winds in Wisconsin. Cross Lake Michigan kept its gusto and is now just working its way off the lake and moving northeast at about 55 miles per hour. New marine warning up towards Luce. While we have that severe thunderstorm warning now in Lake County, again, that goes until 11:30. If you're just tuning in and wondering what's going on, there's a line of storms that are going to work their way from west to east over the next few hours. So areas towards Traverse City, Cadillac,
Ooh,
Big
let's
Rapids.
go ahead and take the Cadillac headquarters. We are getting some really good lightning.
Getting quite a bit of lightning
Yeah.
from the sky cam.
Yes.
So Traverse City, Cadillac, Big Rapids, you'll start seeing these storms around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Areas inland towards Gaylord, Grayling, Harrison, Clare, Mount Pleasant, you'll start seeing these storms more around midnight. Areas east of I-75 will be more around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then it will be crossing Lake Huron around 3 a.m. But what we're watching very closely right now is the storms in southwestern Newaygo County, where we currently have a tornado warning. That goes until 10:15. We now have
They just extended it.
the tornado warning
Yep.
into Mecosta,
Montcalm.
Montcalm.
And now we're talking about, let me see. We are talking about southeastern Newaygo County.
Southeastern Newaygo County.
So that couplet you were
Montcalm.
talking about, they are looking at it and they're extending that warning.
Yep.
So areas, let me go ahead and get a fresh scan on that.
There is a new tornado warning for the rest of Newaygo County, as well as northwestern Montcalm County. So areas towards Croton, where you had the warning earlier, we are seeing these
There's your
winds
latest
right
scan.
here. That latest scan is starting to organize a little bit, but again, where you have the greens and reds, that is what we're watching closely. New tornado warning for Croton, southeastern Newaygo County. So all of southern Newaygo County right now, you're under a tornado warning. And then also northern Montcalm County, Howard City, you are in that as well. So this is moving northeast at 55 to 60 miles per hour. Croton around 10:20, Big Prairie around 10:22, Howard City around 10:26, Morley around 10:32, Stanwood around 10:34, Lakeview 10:37, Mecosta at 10:46, and Millbrook around 10:52. So if you are in this tornado warning right now as we speak in southern Newaygo County and northwestern Montcalm County, please get to your safe places as you are hearing this. Make sure you have a way of keeping with us as this line of storms is continuing to move off of Lake Michigan. There are plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings, but right now active tornado warning in southern Newaygo County until 10:45 here this evening. John, could you flip to the radar and so we can show this line of storms as it's moving east?
Yep, let's go
There's
ahead
that line of storms.
Let's go ahead and reset here.
Ashland, Bridgeton, Fremont, heading to the east right now. White Cloud, you are starting to see the starts of that line of storms. But again, areas towards Newaygo, you're just getting into the line of that storm. And again, it looks like 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings. So once you get towards areas towards M20 and south, that is where we're seeing a lot of that tornadic activity right now. But we have severe thunderstorm warnings for the rest of Newaygo County, Oceana, Mason, Lake, Manistee, and Benzie counties until 10:45. Yes. Were you saying something over there, John?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, at least even though we don't technically have severe thunderstorm warnings, say for Oceana County or even northern Newaygo County, they have put a destructive tag on here.
Okay.
So meaning, like we were talking about earlier.
That's why you're seeing it blink, yeah.
Yeah, the main reason why is because of that gust front. You're talking about these winds very, very strong on the leading edge of the storm, and that can almost be as dangerous as a tornado.
Yes, that's a really good point. What the other thing is it doesn't have to be a tornado to be destructive. These winds can be, we've already seen wind gusts upwards of 80, 85 miles per hour. Those can be just as damaging as straight line winds, which can be more damaging than a weak tornado. So again, this is continuing to move to the east through southern Newaygo County. Right now, the indication, I am still seeing a couplet that on radar scope for that southern Newaygo County that continues to not be the best couplet, but it still shows there's a little bit of organization.
Okay.
So if you could go to Newaygo County,
Yep.
so they dropped the western warning, but continue it now in the east. So southeastern Newaygo County, flip over the velocity if you could. Yeah, see, man, I just don't like that couplet.
I don't either.
It's not defined enough, but at the same time it is showing that there are signs of that rotation. So again, there is the possibility that there is a tornado in southeastern Newaygo County right now, impacting areas towards Newaygo, Grant, Ashland, Croton, and heading towards Howard City, not to mention heading towards US 131. So again, that is what we are breaking in for here, is that severe thunderstorm warnings, but also for this tornado warning for southern Newaygo County and south and northwestern portions of Montcalm County. So Croton, Newaygo, you are currently under the gun with the latest tornado warning. Looks like they have extended that also into northern Kent County. So if you have any folks in that area that are currently watching, right now we're also on socials. If you do know of anybody down that direction, make sure you call and check on them. Let them know that these storms are on the way in. Again, the velocities are showing that tornadoes could be embedded in this line of storms. And right now the spot in question is southern Newaygo County. Areas right now towards M37 in Lake County, as well as also into the rest of Newaygo County. Those storms continuing to head east right now at about 55, 60 miles per hour. Those areas up towards Manistee, Benzie counties, you're seeing these storms just starting to get off of Lake Michigan and continue to head northeast towards areas like Lake Ann, Traverse City, as well as spots down towards Kingsley here within the next 45 minutes or so. Areas towards Cadillac, areas down towards Reed City, areas down towards Big Rapids. You'll see these storms here probably within the next half hour. And again, the main threats is going to be sizable hail, damaging winds, and again, isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out. So southeastern Newaygo County, northwestern Montcalm County, continuing to see that tornado warning at the moment. And what we are seeing is these couplets right here, that leading edge, we are seeing, again, not a distinct tornado on the ground. It is radar indicated rotation that could possibly produce a tornado. So those areas in southeastern Newaygo County, northwestern portions of Montcalm County, get to your safe places right now. Make sure you take us with you as we are live on socials, not to mention on TV at the moment, bringing you this latest in the severe weather and the storms coming off of Lake Michigan. The western half of the lower peninsula, the western half from the Straits all the way down towards Kalamazoo, you have a tornado watch until 3 a.m. Doesn't mean you're going to see tornadoes for all these spots. It means that the conditions are right. The recipe is there, that there could possibly be tornadoes embedded in this line of storms like we're seeing right now in Newaygo County as it continues to move east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So these areas in the western half of the lower peninsula continue to be weather aware tonight, and make sure you are prepared. Right now we have an active tornado warning in southeastern Newaygo County and western Montcalm County until 10:45.
Let's go ahead and get the updates on that.
At the moment, we have not had a confirmed tornado, but there looks like there was an update here.
We're getting 70 mile per hour wind gusts reported in Mecosta County.
Okay.
Let's see, Central Dispatch from 911 in Ottawa County reported a funnel cloud near Holland City.
Okay, so nothing there for Newaygo.
Not seeing anything yet, nope.
And currently right now, southeastern Newaygo County, Croton, areas towards Ashland, heading towards Howard City right now into northwestern portions of Montcalm County. That is where we're continuing to see this line of storms. And again, this is a destructive line of storms. And with the latest right here, velocity, you can see that the winds are continuing to show that rotation. I am not seeing a key indication of a tornado for those areas, but right there is where we are currently watching, where those winds are currently wrapping. Again, that is why you have a tornado warning. Those areas towards Croton, as well as down all the way to northern Kent County, now moving into areas towards northwestern Montcalm County and crossing US 131 here within the next 20 minutes or so.
We just did get a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be for Mecosta County, and we're going to take that all the way out until 11:45.
Mecosta County now under a severe thunderstorm warning here.
Correct.
Again, it's for that storm that's back here towards White Cloud. If you can show the radar, we'll show that line. There you go. So it's back towards M37 right now, crossing that towards White Cloud, heading towards Big Rapids and US 131. So Mecosta County now under that severe thunderstorm warning. The tornado warning right now continuing in effect till 10:45 for southeastern portion of Newaygo County and northwestern portion of Montcalm County. Again, that is what we're on TV for you here. I know we've received some emails. The reason we are on TV right now is because this is impacting our viewing area. Tornado is an imminent threat to life. And I'm sorry, we can't pick and choose what TVs we are impacting across northern Michigan. So we will be with a tornado warning. That's standard protocol until it is gone and it is in our viewing area. So we are live on socials right now. We're also live on TV. Standard protocol for a tornado warning because this could be impacting people's lives down in southern Newaygo County and northwestern Montcalm County. So the situation we have right now, western half of the northern lower, you have a tornado watch until 3 a.m. This line of storms coming off of Lake Michigan continues to hold its strength from earlier this evening in Wisconsin. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings from Benzie down to Manistee, Mason, Lake, Oceana, Newaygo counties. We also have a tornado warning right now in southeastern Newaygo County until 10:45, impacting areas such as Croton and moving east, crossing US 131 into northwestern Montcalm County towards Howard City. Mecosta has just been added for a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, that is because of this line right here that is continuing to move east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. John, if you could flip over to the Gaylord radar.
Yep.
And see how these storms are doing right now. Benzie and Manistee, those storms are coming off the lake right now, impacting you with what looks to be extremely heavy wind. Throw on the lightning real quick.
Okay.
See what, oh yeah, there's lightning for you. Quite a bit of lightning in here as well. You can turn that off so we can see the radar.
Yep.
I just wanted to see what lightning looked like. But that is indicating to me with that lightning that these storms are continuing to grow. It's continuing to grab that moisture and that warmer air in front of it, and it is continuing to feed these storms. Areas in Manistee, as well as Mason, Lake, Oceana, Newaygo, and also Mecosta counties, this line of storms is just getting to you. We have been seeing reports of 80+ mile-per-hour winds, and not to mention the possibility of embedded tornadoes. And that is, again, what we're seeing in southern Newaygo County, where we currently have the latest tornado warning. John, if you could slide us down to that tornado warning. Right now,
yep.
Velocity-wise, it is actually starting to organize, from what I can tell. So we might have here in the last little bits towards Croton, we might have the indications. Oh, man. Again, right here is our main concern. That is crossing into Montcalm County. So where you have the green winds here and the red winds here, that is indicating rotation. And it looks like, if anything, this is a very weak rotation, but again, could possibly be a tornado moving through Newaygo County and into northwestern Montcalm County towards Howard City. So if you're in Howard City right now, you need to get to your safe place and you need to take cover from this incoming storm. Yeah, you can see.
Let me go ahead and get a new track on that.
Yeah. So those areas closer to Howard City, Croton, these areas just south of Stanwood, Big Prairie, White Cloud, these areas up here too towards Stanwood, Mecosta, just because you're not in the warning doesn't mean you're away from what could possibly work its way north into your counties. Everyone here in this area needs to have the safe place ready, needs to think about getting to these locations. Croton, areas towards Howard City right here. Howard City, 10:28. So in the next 4 minutes, this storm is going to work its way over downtown Howard City. So these areas here in eastern Newaygo, northwestern Montcalm counties, you need to get to your safe place as we speak. And that storm is going to continue to move to the east. Right now, crossing US 131. So again, if you know anybody that's traveling 131, tell them to just pull off to the side. And if they're in Montcalm County or anywhere close, get them into Mecosta or...
Yep, and I would even say, even if you're into southern Mecosta County, you want to make sure that you're staying on your guard with this system moving through over the next few minutes.
Yeah, so right here, just west of Howard City, that is what I have in question. Yeah, it's not a huge indication, but that is, to me, showing that rotation, and that is where we could possibly have why you're under a tornado warning. So again, it is not confirmed, but radar is indicating that we could possibly have a tornado here in southeastern Newaygo and northwestern Montcalm County.
And I did want to go ahead and pull your attention a little bit further north. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's for Wexford County
Yep.
until about 11:30.
Yes. So Wexford County now under a severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 11:30. Montcalm now has a severe thunderstorm warning as well. That goes until midnight. So like we were talking about earlier with this line of storms, it was not going to surprise us that they just continue to issue these warnings as this line of storms works its way to the east-northeast. So if you're right now anywhere in Benzie, all the way down through Wexford, Mecosta, areas towards Lake Newaygo counties, make sure you are taking cover and preparing for this line of storms. Winds in excess of 60, 65, 70, 80 miles per hour in spots as these storms have moved off the lakes. It is continuing to move to the east-northeast at 55 to 60 miles per hour. And we do have that active tornado warning right now in southeastern Newaygo and also northwestern Montcalm County until 10:45. And it's for this line right here. Doesn't look like a whole lot from the radar, but when we look at velocity, that is where we're starting to see that little bit of rotation right here towards Howard City. That is what has my attention east of Croton right now, and Howard City, that is where you need to be in your safe place right now. And you need to have us up, whether it's on socials or whether it's on TV, you need to have us right now looking at Howard City. You need to be in your safe place until 10:45. And then,
You know, Mike,
Yeah.
I was debating if I wanted to say this or not, but you know what? I'm going to say it. I know we're getting several emails of us staying on the air for this tornado, and the big reason why is because we continue to get new scans in every single minute. And that gives us an indication of how the atmosphere is currently behaving. So for those of you that are emailing us, telling us that we need to get off the air, this is the reason why. If you lived here, or if you know someone you care about who lived here, wouldn't you want them to get the information that they need? That is the big reason why we are continuing to stay on the air right now with this tornado warning. Sorry that you're missing your shows.
we are, but right now we have a threat to life.
Absolutely.
And
we protect life and property. That comes first.
And until we can get to the point where we can pick and choose what counties or TVs we're on, unfortunately, it's going to be our entire viewing area. And our viewing area is one of the biggest in the country, unfortunately, so that means you're going to have to stick with us. And right now, southeastern Newaygo and northwestern Montcalm County, you have a tornado warning. So until that warning's gone, once it is, we'll return you back to your programming.
Absolutely.
But until then, we're live on socials and on TV to bring you the latest with the storm, because it could possibly pose a threat to those people in that area. And right now, that severe thunderstorm warning from the Lake Michigan shoreline all the way down to Mecosta County continues, but we also have that active tornado warning here for southeastern Newaygo and also northwestern Montcalm County, right here where you have this darker red and these greens. Where they meet, that is the spot in question. It's not a confirmed tornado, but you know what? Doppler radar is telling us that yes, we could have a tornado for this section. Howard City is that spot. So if you're in Howard City right now, you need to be in your safe place. You need to take cover. You are currently under the gun with what could be a possible tornado. Right now, damaging winds, not only in Newaygo and Montcalm counties, but for areas through Benzie, Manistee, Wexford, you're next with this line of storms, but areas over into Mason, Lake, as well as spots into Oceana, Newaygo, and also Montcalm counties as this line is moving east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So make sure those areas you're continuing to be weather aware and you are taking this seriously. I don't care if I look like I just came from a gaming tournament. I'm here to bring you the latest with this severe weather.
Absolutely.
I came in to help John.
And I appreciate you, Mike.
And that is my job. Me and John are here to make sure that you are getting the latest information with this potentially damaging line of storms. And that is what you're going to get here this evening.
And I do want to go ahead and just reset. I don't want to exclude any of our northern communities. And I know we're focusing a little bit more on the Newaygo potential tornado, but we do still have very active situations going a little bit further north. You're still holding on to these severe thunderstorm warnings. Areas from Benzie County going towards Manistee County. We have the newest one issued for Wexford County. So that does include us where we're at here at the 9 and 10 studio. So we're going to have to watch this storm, at least for our safety, a little bit closer just in case we do happen to see a little bit of rotation within it. As of right now, you're still talking about Mason County, 10:45. You got about another 15 minutes. It does look like the worst of that storm has moved
Slid
through your
over into
area.
Lake County, yep.
Yep. So as of right now, you're still talking about Lake County, severe thunderstorm warning, even into northern Newaygo County. It has the destructive tag on it, meaning that we're talking about wind gusts potentially near 80 miles per hour. And that can be as dangerous, straight line winds, as what you can see from an EF0 or even an EF1 tornado. So that's a big reason why not only are we staying with this, but we want to continue to get the latest scans. That's a big reason why. When you're talking about severe weather, it is changing consistently. So we want to make sure that we're getting the latest information to you so you know what you need to do.
Yeah, John, if you could hit the storm relative velocity, I think we're getting a little bit better of a view. Yeah, I mean, it's still got that couplet right here towards Howard City. Again, if there's active tornado right now, it is slowly working its way east. This storm just does not want to organize the best. We're still seeing a very sloppy, oh, there you go, that's not actually what I wanted to see. This is showing much more organization as it is crossing US 131 and following M46. So just north of Howard City, but that at the corner of 131 and M46, that is proven to me that that could possibly be a tornado.
And getting messages in right now from viewers. It looks like Sam is in the potential line of this, and he is saying that there is power outages confirmed with this potential tornado.
Okay.
So just kind of indicating that we are being spot on with what we're looking at here as far as we see on radar.
So what we're seeing right now, you're seeing a tornado warning. I'm just going to walk over to the screen.
Go for it.
Hopefully my shorts don't key out, but I will just show you guys. So what we're looking at right now is for right here. That bright green spot there where US 131 and M46 meet right there, and where this red is, that to us is indicating that rotation. And the brighter the color, the better chances for an actual tornado on the ground. But this is the best or the brightest that we've seen this reflectivity as it worked its way off of Lake Michigan. And this right now is at the corner of 131 and M46 and working its way to the east-northeast towards Mecosta County. So we're going to watch this very closely. This is north of Howard City, but if you're in Howard City right now, you need to be in your safe place because this could continue to bounce around. But this is right now at the intersection of US 131 and M46, moving to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So it is continuing to head towards Morley, Lakeview, as well as Millbrook. So again, 1036 for Morley, as well as 1036, excuse me, for Morley, 1046 for Lakeview, 1103 for Millbrook. So right there where we've seen that M46 and US 131, that is where we are seeing the potential for a tornado right now on the ground there in northwestern Montcalm County, and possibly working its way up into southern Mecosta County. See, this is the next reason why we watch this very closely, because it could easily jump that county line here in the next half hour. So again, areas just north of Howard City, that is where we're seeing the potential rotation, possible tornado in that area.
So as of right now, yeah, we're just taking, I'm just doing these numbers that you see on here on your screen. We're taking some scans of just the winds and how they're behaving aloft. Yeah. So when you're talking about these winds, you're easily in excess of 50 plus miles per hour. So like we were talking about before, even if we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground, you can still get what's called straight line winds on the leading edge of the system.
Correct.
And that can be just as dangerous as what you can see or experience from the destruction that a tornado could produce.
And that's what they're seeing more right now in Kent County, is the winds are the velocity is very bright. They're probably dealing more with straight line winds closer down towards Grand Rapids, which Grand Rapids does have a tornado warning right now. That one looks way more organized. They actually probably...
I know this is technically out of the viewing area, but
yeah.
I know we still do have some people that do watch us a little bit farther south, so we'll go ahead and just
Those
get you a
areas
quick
towards,
update on it.
Yeah, Wyoming, back here, that looks to me like a little bit more organization. It gets tougher to tell closer to the radar site, but
Sure.
right here, back south of Hudsonville, that looks like it could be a couplet as well. We just got a new warning in, marine warning for Leelanau County. So again, right here, what we're seeing, again, Big Rapids, areas in Mecosta County. If you go back to that velocity, it looks like it's jumping into southern Mecosta County as well. So again, as this line continues to move to the east-northeast, you're seeing the potential of all of that rotation possibly being embedded tornadoes. This is why we were so worried about this line of storms from the get-go as it was crossing Lake Michigan. If it held its gusto, there is going to be the possibility of straight-line winds or embedded tornadoes as it continues to move to the east-northeast. And that's what we're seeing right now, working its way towards M37, US 131, and northeast. That is why we're continuing to hang with these to bring the latest information to you, because this is the potential that we're going to continue to have going into the overnight hours.
Correct.
And the problem is, this isn't daytime. You can't see these like you can in the middle of the day, if you can see them at all. So you kind of have a double whammy. That is why we're using the radar to see what we can see inside of these storms and bring you the latest information. So right now, we are seeing Benzie, Manistee, Wexford, Lake, Newaygo, Mecosta, and Montcalm counties with severe thunderstorm warnings until later this evening. We have an active tornado warning in northwestern Montcalm County until 10:45. The entirety of the western half of the lower peninsula has a tornado watch until 3 a.m. Now, the tornado watch just means that the conditions are right for this line of storms to possibly produce tornadoes. And like we've been showing you, right now in northwestern Montcalm County, they've actually just shaved the box down a little bit.
They did.
That is where we've been seeing indications of a possible tornado.
Let's go ahead and go back. Let's see if we can get an updated scan on that. Newly issued, let's see, severe thunderstorm warning now for Montcalm County.
Yep. But I would say that's more of the straight line winds impact.
Sure.
I'm not seeing too much of a couplet there, but you can see that from just east of Cedar Springs up into northwestern Montcalm County, that is screaming to me straight line winds. But up towards Stanwood, that is the possibility of something that we'll continue to watch. That has me more concerned than
Yes.
the straight line winds down here.
Yep. So
again,
even though we technically do not have a tornado warning with this couplet that we're circling right here, so this is just now
this is something we need to watch closely.
Yep, so
because
this is
could
now
lead to that.
just to the east of 131, literally just to the east of Stantwood and approaching areas near Mecosta. Canadian Lakes, just to the south of there. This is going to be a spot where you do want to get to your safe spot away from doors and windows
Yes.
on the lowest level of your home. If you do not have a basement or a storm shelter, a closet, a hallway, the bathroom, away from any windows if you possibly can, and making sure that you're protecting yourself. It might sound a little silly, but a helmet that can protect your head, making sure that you have closed-toe shoes, just in case if you do happen to go outside after the storm passes and there is debris on the ground. You don't want to make sure, or you want to make sure that you are protecting your feet and you're not getting any cuts or anything like that. So these are just, again, just some things that you want to make sure that you're keeping in mind as we're talking about the potential for tornadic activity.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a few people are tuning in here on socials as well, and they're asking, what about us? What about us? What about us? Right now, this line has just worked its way off of Lake Michigan and impacting areas mainly from US 131 and west. So Traverse City down towards Big Rapids. You'll continue to see this line of storms as we head towards 11 o'clock. Gaylord, Grayling, Clare, Harrison, areas down towards Mount Pleasant. You'll see these storms more around midnight, and then areas east of I-75, they're going to be seeing these storms more around 1 to 2 a.m. Right now, what you're looking at is we have a tornado watch for the entirety of the western half of the lower peninsula until 3 a.m. We currently have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings from Benzie all the way down towards Montcalm County. And then the next thing that we're continuing to watch very closely is the current tornado warning in northwestern Montcalm County, which is about to expire here in the next 5 minutes. There is a little bit of rotation on the leading edge of that storm in Montcalm County, but right now my attention is a little bit closer up into Mecosta County, where things are looking a little bit more rotation wise. But again, that is that whole line right there that we're watching very closely. As this is starting to bow, you're starting to see the winds change directions.
Yep.
And again, the conditions are right for these storms to continue to feed. So these areas in southern Mecosta County, Canadian Lakes, if you're hearing my voice, you need to get to your safe place right now. Stanwood, Morley, Mecosta, these areas need to get into the safe place and have us handy and have everything in your safe place that will keep you protected. Have flashlights. We're hearing a lot of power outages right now. So make sure you have ways of getting yourself light. If you have ways of keeping your phone charged, make sure if you are in northwestern Montcalm, southern Mecosta County right now, you are taking the right precautions as these storms are moving in. Now, it's not only the tornado warning that is seeing damage. We're also getting reports of 80, 85 mile per hour winds as these storms are working their way through, hence the severe thunderstorm warnings. So that is what we have currently for you. That's a tornado warning for northwestern Montcalm County. That is the reason you're seeing us on TV, not to mention on socials. That goes here until 10:45. I'm betting that they let this expire, as we are not seeing much in the way of rotation currently up towards Lakeview. But again, what we're watching closely is southern Mecosta County. It looks like the rotation there is getting a little bit tighter. I'd be very interested in the next scan here, very quick.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just get I want to go ahead and just get a new track on that.
Right here, in between Stanwood and Mecosta, heading directly into Canadian Lakes, this is indicating rotation to us. It's not much, but it doesn't take much to get embedded tornadoes in a line of storms like this. So areas towards Mecosta, 1048, Millbrook around 1057, Lake Isabella around 1104, Mount Pleasant, this system will be reaching you around 1118, and then Rosebush around 1119. So again, southern Mecosta County, again, that is what we're watching very closely. If you're watching us on TV, we are probably going to be letting you go here very shortly.
Yes.
We will be continuing to be on socials. But as long as there is not a tornado warning, we will let you get back to your regularly scheduled program here very shortly. And then we will break in with any of the latest updates as we get closer to 11 o'clock. And then as long as there's no tornado warnings, we'll take the 11 o'clock news as scheduled.
Sure. And one thing I do, again, want to go ahead and reiterate with us being on the air for these tornado warnings. I know I mentioned this earlier during our coverage that we were getting some emails that weren't the nicest. So we do this and we take this very, very seriously. Now, when you talk to us, this is not us on our soapbox. We don't want to have to cut into programming. We want you to be able to watch your shows. But when we have life-threatening information and when we have life-threatening storms impacting anywhere in our viewing area, that takes priority. So again, this is the big reason why me and Mike, we talked about this even yesterday. We planned that we were going to have dual coverage on this. We had a good feeling that we were going to see some intense storms, and unfortunately we are seeing that come to fruition. So that is, again, the big reason why we're sticking with this. But as soon as we do not have any active tornado warnings, we will send it back to your regular programming.
And right now, just to kind of keep you in the loop here, we are starting to see some small spin-ups in Mecosta, northern Newaygo, a few small spin-ups in Baldwin, as well as into Osceola County. They're not anything super organized at the moment, but these have me concerned. Where you have obviously this giant cell, but when he goes back to velocity, you are seeing rotation. This is where you have embedded tornadoes. This is the scary part with this line of storms. Like this right here, that to me is saying there could be something spinning up, because you have the red inside the green. That is this. At a very small centralized location. So again, that is just northeast of Baldwin, east of M37, heading towards US 131, north of Chase. Yes, there isn't much here in this section, but again, that is screaming to me rotation. And that is why we're, again, covering this so closely, is with this line of storms and the winds moving aloft so crazy, the three ingredients that you need for tornadic activity. The biggest one that we saw yesterday and 2 days ago was wind shear. Wind shear is one of the biggest ingredients, and it was a very high number yesterday. It was 40 knots aloft, and then at the surface it was 40 knots, but they were going almost 45-degree parallel. Like there was different directions to those, just meters above. that was screaming to us, okay, this has the potential of being that line of storms where you could have those small spin-ups. And that is what we are seeing. All right, the tornado warning has expired in northwestern Mecosta County. So everyone that is on TV, we are going to be returning you back to your originally scheduled programming. For that, we will leave you with this: Benzie, Manistee, Wexford, Mason, Lake, as well as Newaygo, Mecosta counties.
They did just drop a few of these, Mike.
Did they?
Yep.
Okay, so it is now Wexford, Lake, Newaygo, Mecosta, and Montcalm counties. You have a severe thunderstorm warning going on until later tonight. So with the tornado warning being dropped, everyone on TV, we will be taking you back to your original scheduled programming, while everyone on social, we will continue to be here with you until 11 o'clock when the news, if there's no tornado warnings, will go on as planned, and then we'll shut down the stream and then bring it back after the news as long as we continue to see warnings. So for those on TV, we now send you back to your originally scheduled programming. I need a little bit of water.
Let's get you some water.
All right, everyone on socials, thank you for hanging with us. We continue to see everyone on here thank you.
Thank you, Quinn.
Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, everyone who's been relaying information to us.
Yep,
we do appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
Traverse City just heard first thunder. You were probably in Traverse City about 20 minutes away.
Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna.
Yeah, let's just kind of,
I'm gonna put
we're on socials now, so let's kind of tour what we're looking at here. One thing, John, if you could scrub the color so you can get a better view, so we're not getting so much ground clutter, just take this and scrub it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that way we don't have all that ground clutter out
Sure.
there. That will give us a better view rather than the ground clutter out there. So right here, the red, that is a tornado watch. That goes until 3 a.m. That we've had since 9 o'clock or so. But here's a look at the line of storms and the warnings we have. We currently have warnings in Wexford, Lake. Newaygo is going to be expiring here very shortly. Mecosta, Montcalm, and also down into Kent County. This whole line of storms is continuing to produce damaging winds, sizable hail, torrential rain, but also a lot of lightning to go along with it. We're also seeing a lot of power outages. So with that being said, the western half is continuing to be impacted this. US 131 all the way right now from Big Rapids back all the way up towards Leelanau County. But again, the warnings right here in those yellow shaded counties. Kingsley, you are now starting to get in on some of the rain showers. Everett 1050, you're starting to see some of those showers out there for you. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder. Barton around 1051, Cadillac around 1052. You'll start seeing some of those rain showers. Manton around 1054, Highland around 1055, I believe Fife Lake around 1057. So we have this line of storms. We've been following this all the way back since Wisconsin late this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
We saw numerous tornadoes and a lot of damage over in Wisconsin, extremely gusty and damaging winds, and that's continued to cross Lake Michigan. When that happens, that is when we start as meteorologists saying, all right, what's the lakes going to do? Right now the lakes are not the warmest. It is still May. So there is a good shot that those lakes start to break the storms down. This line of storms did not break down. They recycled. So they started to cross Lake Michigan. They lost a little bit of strength, but then at the last second, it recycled back into strength as it got closer to shore. That's where we started seeing rotation. We had tornado warnings in Muskegon, southern Newaygo, and northwestern Montcalm counties. We did have some signatures that may have been tornadic activity.
And I want to go ahead and go back
Right there, yeah,
to
that's
Lake
another
County. This was a spot we were watching a little bit earlier before we cut off of TV. Again, right here, let me go ahead and circle it. Just to the east of 37, just to the north of Baldwin. And those are
Rotation.
some pretty dark reds and some pretty dark greens, pretty close together. So again, this is what we call a couplet.
Yep.
So once we start to see that, that tells us that the winds are rotating. And
oh, wow. John, flip to the Gaylord radar and look at velocity. same spot.
Oh, okay.
It is much brighter.
Let's take a look.
And if you use the radar scope on there. Oh, yeah, there you go.
There we go. Oh my.
So where you have that darker color and those blues, yeah, that is, oh.
Let's go ahead and get down to street level.
Yeah, so Luther.
So here's 37,
Yep.
just for reference. So we've got Baldwin and
Yeah.
Chase. So this is into Northern Lake,
Yep.
almost getting into Wexford.
They dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for that?
So I would say anywhere from North Kings Highway, if you're north of East 5 Mile Road, and areas farther east, so North State Road, East 6 Mile Road, 8 Mile Road, East 10 Mile Road. Even though we technically do not have a tornado warning associated with those.
No, we don't, but it is screaming to us a possible tornado.
Or at least some signs of rotation.
Yeah, so to kind of give you an idea, again, there's no warning here at the moment.
They dropped it.
Which baffles me a little bit. But this section right here, where there's supposed to be color here, that is actually showing as the other color. It is a darker color, so that's the reds, if you will, and these are the greens. That is showing to us that there is, like, look at this. How is they not, like, am I just
I would
blind?
say if you're anywhere near Luther.
Yeah, Luther you need to get in your safe place if you're near Luther. Like, look at my computer.
Wow.
Like, that's a,
Yeah, that's a little.
to me, that's a tornado. So, right now, even though you're not warned, and we will get you to the 11 o'clock news here very shortly, but even though you're not warned in Lake County, there is significant rotation just northwest of Luther, and it is heading east. So, again, if you are in Luther, please get to your safe places here, and that is just southwest of Wexford County. Again, it's right here. Interested in that
Right.
one. But Wexford County, you are the only warning at the moment here in the northern lower for this system moving out of the east. And then for areas here, Newaygo County, for some reason you're still under a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's mainly here in Mecosta County, now east of US 131. That is, again, moving east towards Isabella County. And as long as we don't have any tornado warnings here in our viewing area, we will be joining Adam and John in the 11 o'clock news. And then after that, we will continue to pick up on socials with this as long as we continue to have the warnings. Good news is it looks like maybe it's losing steam as the warnings are kind of, we only have 3 right now for this line as it's moving east towards Traverse City, Lake Ann, Cadillac, Manton, areas down into Osceola County. But again, we're watching that very closely as we do have some distinct areas that we're watching extremely closely. So again, to kind of wrap everything up before we send you off to the 11 o'clock news, the entirety of the western half of the Lower Peninsula has a tornado watch. It doesn't mean you're going to be seeing tornadoes everywhere in the western half of the Lower Peninsula. It means the ingredients are right to possibly produce tornadoes throughout this late evening and into the early morning hours of Friday. That is what we're watching very closely. We have seen numerous severe thunderstorm warnings as this line of storms worked off of Lake Michigan, wind gusts in excess of 75 to 80 miles per hour, numerous power outages for so many areas as that line of storms continue to roll off. And John, if you need to get your show ready, feel free to do so.
Okay. Before we send you off, and I will do that here in just a sec, this is just newly coming in, new severe thunderstorm warning for Osceola County up until midnight tonight.
All right. Okay. This triangle, brand new, right here. Not sure why this area is not in it, but this is a severe thunderstorm warning for the line of storms that are continuing to move east. That goes until midnight. I'm highly confused on what's going on over there. But Baldwin, this area, I'm just going to say it, in Lake County right now, take shelter. That section of the storm has us very looking very closely at velocities. There's no warning right now in Lake County, but this is moving into Osceola County where they have a warning. So again, we'll continue to watch that very closely, and we are going to stop our stream here very shortly to bring you the latest from John as well as Adam for the 11 o'clock news. And then when they are done with what they are going to be doing from 11 to 11:30, 11:35, we'll be jumping back on if the warnings continue as this line of storms moves northeast. So everybody that is watching us right now on Facebook and YouTube, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll be here with you shortly in about 4 minutes for 9 and 10 news at 11, where John will bring you the latest with these storms, but also you get the latest news with Mr. Adam Bartlemay. So thank you guys for joining us here for this. We're going to wrap this up, John, where you can hit stop streaming on OBS, and we'll be back shortly with you on the 11 o'clock news, and then pick that up afterward. Appreciate all of you.